Alright. Welcome, people, to my 2017 year in review stream. Doesn't look like anybody is here yet. I'm gonna give it a few minutes, let people know that I am starting. "2017, the year that liberal America had an absolute freaking meltdown. I think that's what this year's gonna be known for the most. I'm not turning on my camera because I just didn't feel like dealing with a camera today. Worrying about brushing my hair or whatever. And I did get this brand new headset for Christmas. You guys will be seeing it on the Ruby podcast that we do in the next few days. I just realized that Sunday is New Year's Eve, so we're probably not gonna have it up we're probably not gonna record it on Sunday like we usually do. Probably gonna record it some other day. Okay, let's see if anyone's here yet. JV11 and Kitty Kirishima are here. Hello and welcome. I'm looking at my capture. I'm turning myself up. Turning up my gain. Alright, I'm still trying to find a good mic level for this. New mic, so I have to go through everything all over again. Yeah. Looks like it's nowhere near as sensitive as my webcam mic. Alright, I think that should be good. Alright, so today, as you can probably tell by the thumbnail, I'm playing. I wanna switch to display capture. I am playing Bioshock Infinite, and I need to fix that. It's gonna be one of those where I have to keep readjusting it. Not too much. Actually, that was probably good enough, but so ironically, I'm not playing a game from 2017. I'm actually playing a game from 2013, and you know what? That's fine. I don't care if a little bit of it gets cut off. Jacob V11 said, just got back home from my marching band trip at the Alamo Bowl. Oh, cool. That's that's a pretty big one if I'm recalling correctly. I don't know. I'm not all up on college sports the way my dad is, but you know, I know the bowl games. All right, so I have a list of things I'm wanting to kind of talk about. A lot happened this year. Yeah, I need to turn the audio down on this, like almost all the way. Yeah, save changes.
Wonder where they got
There we
locked
go.
up in this place.
I think that's good. So this is thing is, I don't have a whole lot of games from this year, even though this was pretty good. This was actually a pretty good game, pretty good year for gaming. Had a lot of games. I got a list of them that I want to kind of mention later. But as far as this game goes, this game, it could have been so much better. Like it's a great game and all, but if you look at some of the old like beta footage and stuff and what Ken Levine was wanting to do with this game versus what he ended up doing, it's kind of sad that like he had so many budget and time constraints. Like there's supposed to be like this almost open world element where you had to do deals with the various factions, and it was gonna all be like super organic. Yeah. And this is also when things start getting like really weird. I kind of like
What the hell are they doing to her?
how ambitious the story gets, even if it does turn into a pretentious mess towards the end.
Mr. Thompson, sir, I replaced the entire fuse banker's ass, and the lights were all in working order last night. There they go again. We go through boxes of fuses every day as of late. Just in the siphon alone, I don't...
Watch here.
Can't tell this is Bioshock Infinite. This is the third and last Bioshock game. Ken Levine shut down Irrational Studios shortly after this game came out and formed a different studio to do his own thing, do more like independent work. Good for him. I look forward to seeing what he's doing. He hasn't released another game since then. Kind of sucks, but since it's been like 4 years.
And another to see it. I have seen the seeds of fire that will prepare the Sodom below for the coming of the Lord. But Elizabeth shall sow those seeds, not I. I will fall before the job is done.
Yeah.
But she shall take
As I said, this is one of those games where like the twist seems like really obvious once you've played it once.
Every tumor, because they are the train which takes me to his station. And I go with joy, knowing that Elizabeth will take my
Robert Fuller says, "Yo."
But the false shepherd is coming to lead my lamb astray.
Dang right he is.
I will not board that train until she is safe from his deceptions.
And nothing there.
Dressing room. That's where we need to go.
Dressing room. Decontamination stuff. Anyway, so 2017. Yeah, let me know, like, what happened this year that you want me to talk about. I got a list of, like, movies and games and events that I want to kind of go through. In no particular order, just the order that I thought them up in. I don't want to get too political on the stream, even though I don't think that's really a possibility. Because this is the year that we got a new president here in the United States. He won the election last year and got sworn in this year, and it's been the Trumpocalypse ever since. Oh, I accidentally jumped.
Whoa!
Yep. La Revanche du Jedi. That's French for Revenge of the Jedi, which is the alternate title of Return of the Jedi. It's what it was originally going to be called.
Whatever that was. It's got nothing to do with the job at hand.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that, Booker.
This job's getting worse all the time.
What makes the girl different? I suspect it has less to do with what she is, and rather more with what she is not. A small part of her remains from where she came. It would seem the universe does not like its peas mixed with its porridge.
Hold on. I completely forgot what I was doing.
Library.
Guessing it's this way. Yeah, it's this way. Sorry, someone asked me where something was.
Holy shit. Alright. I can do this.
God, could you imagine how cold it must be in Colombia? The entire city, really. Like, must be freaking cold. Ouch.
Knock it off! Stop it!
Booker would probably be dead after that.
Not here to hurt you.
Who are you?
My name is DeWitt. I'm a friend. I come to get you out
Get
of here.
away! Are you real?
I'm real enough.
He's coming. You've gotta go.
Why?
You don't want to be here when he gets here. Just a minute, I'm getting dressed.
Get you out of here.
There's no way out. Trust me, I've looked. Stop it, you're too impatient. That's enough.
I also wish Songbird was a bigger part of the story. Like if he just came in a lot more.
Give it to me.
It's just one of those things where like they wanted to do so much more with them, but then couldn't, and the product was the worst for it.
It's a way out.
Yeah. The Battlefront 2 loot box controversy, I do plan on talking about that. I mentioned it a little bit in my last stream, my 1 year anniversary stream. But yeah, that was a big thing that happened, especially in gaming. EA in general just took a nosedive into into everybody's bad graces. I mean, EA was already kind of notoriously evil, but this year, like people really started wisening up to EA's bullcrap. Because not just with Battlefront 2, but remember what came out earlier in the year with Mass Effect Andromeda. Which Mass Effect Andromeda was also one of the worst games of the year. I think that's a good time to like get into games. This was a pretty solid year for gaming overall. Let me just shoot this guy up. Yeah, just emptied an entire clip into his eye. This is actually my favorite little bit of the game. Mostly because of this little, like, like steampunk sound score.
Careful, Elizabeth.
How do you know my name?
Not now.
Hurry!
Out of the way. Let me try.
Best game of the year, and one of the few games from this year that I've actually played extensively, is Breath of the Wild. Which, man, this whole decade of pretty much every single art form has been very derivative. Very much like nostalgia based, and Breath of the Wild is no exception. But what Breath of the Wild did is it genuinely, like unabashedly, took the historic Zelda franchise forward. I love this. I don't care if it's basic, if it's literally on rails. Still pretty awesome, like interactive cutscene. Seeing Monument Island fall apart. Wish there's a lot more of that. I wish there's a lot more like a lot more of the open world aspect that Ken Levine wanted to do with this game. I think open world games are pretty like common, but open world games where like the world completely changes as the story progresses is a bit more of a rarity. Anyway, like, as far as video games go, like, what can be said about Breath of the Wild that hasn't been said over and over again throughout the year? Same thing with Cuphead. Like, I haven't actually played Cuphead for myself, but I just love the fact that that game even exists.
Anna? Anna?
Yeah. See, the twist is a little easy to come by. But no, there's a couple major franchises that kind of saw a bit of a resurgence. Zelda, Mario with Mario Odyssey looks really good. Assassin's Creed Origins took at least a step in the right direction for the Assassin's Creed franchise.
No, it's me, Elizabeth.
Sonic had a good game and a bad game come out this year.
Where am
Even though I
The
don't
land of the
care
living.
much for either of the games.
I? I'll be fine.
Like,
Almost drowned.
Sonic Forces
That's
has so much of like everything I hate about the Sonic franchise, and Sonic Mania it is just too much.
It's music.
It's like the Force Awakens of Sonic games.
Okay, I won't be long.
It's good, I guess, but they're really going off of a cheat sheet. Other big games to come out this year. For Honor is one that I played quite a bit of, but that game was disappointing. It really was. Nowhere near as disappointing as Mass Effect Andromeda was for a lot of people in Battlefront 2, and can I just say this about Mass Effect Andromeda? Mass Effect was never good. Like, even when it was quote-unquote good, it wasn't that good. And so, Mass Effect Andromeda was not that big of a surprise for me. It looked like crap from the very beginning, and I was just proven absolutely right when it came out, and everyone were throwing a fit over its terrible graphics and stunted gameplay and lack of any kind of depth or nuance and heavy-handed pandering messages. I've said this, I'm pretty sure I say this every time I do a stream, but you'll know a lot about where a game's head is at by what they choose to show in the trailers. And for Mass Effect, they showed the dialogue wheel, and that was and some of like shoot 'em up gameplay, but when Gears of War or Uncharted have like more deep gameplay than you on the shooting front, and you're like the least RPG game out there, I have no idea why anybody thought Mass Effect was ever that good. Like, it just boggles me.
He says he has a plan, then he has a plan. What does he ever let us down?
And I guess the only other games I have written down are Observer, which I have not played. It's just something I'm interested in. It's a very like System Shock-esque type game. Kind of like the original Bioshock. PUBG, which I've played around with a little bit, I don't really get the appeal of that game either. I'm not a multiplayer guy. And I'm certainly not a multiplayer guy of spend 20 minutes looking for stuff, get shot, and then have to wait 20-30 minutes to find another game. Like that's the kind of stuff that just makes me not play a game at all. Like, that's the kind of stuff that will make me just straight up not ever turn a game back on.
Comstock. I've read about him. They say he can see the future.
Give a man a little power. Falls in all kinds of love with himself.
But enough about that. Let's talk about Battlefront Deuce and how it dropped a giant deuce on the entire gaming industry. Again, like, so many people kind of talk this point to death. I'm not going to be offering anything new. It was, gameplay-wise, it was slightly better than the last Battlefront game. But they tried getting away with way too much based on just the Star Wars license alone. And people like wised up to it really, really fast. Like I am impressed with how fast the free market just
Fall into the water, did you know?
nuked Battlefront Deuce.
Keep an eye out for something that might ease your pain.
What I don't like about that whole exchange is that Congress wanted to try getting involved and make it illegal to gamble and
Nothing beats the cage.
call it gambling. Like, no, just government, stay out. Stay out of my games, please. The
Look at
Lutessas.
these, they're amazing. Which one do you like more, this one or this? The bird is beautiful and the cage is somber, but there's really something special about it. I just can't decide.
By the way,
The one on the left.
these choices mean absolutely nothing,
I love it.
which kind of sucks. I feel like they were going to amount to something, but whatever they were supposed to amount to ended up getting cut.
Are you alright?
It was my home.
We should get out of here.
Let's go.
Yeah. Malik Roo says the Spider-Man game looks dope. It's one of the new Spider-Man game looks like it's one of those games where like you really gotta play it in order to determine like how much of that is actually gameplay. Because so much of that trailer looked like it was just a cutscene that was made with the in-game engine. Now, if it's really that dynamic, yes, it deserves it. But if not, then
Through there.
I have just the
yeah.
Come on.
Look at this one. He's suspicious if you ask me.
Damn thing's locked.
All right, quiet down there, Pete. Let's go home.
What are you doing?
You're a roguish type. What does it look like?
I don't
Done.
want to stop on all of us just to find this one.
What did you learn to
But yeah, hopefully this whole Battlefront 2 situation
Nothing but books and
makes
spare
people realize that they can't get by just on brand name recognition alone. They have to actually put in some effort now. We're tired of the same old shoot 'em up galleries. I just look at how the fact that nobody has been talking about Call of Duty World War II. We was Nazis edition.
I found these silver eagles. There's a vending device over there. There might be something to bring back.
It's probably good.
Nah, I'm already at full health though. And full ammo. For the weapons I have. Let's go in here first.
When I first seen Columbia, that sky was the brightest, bluest sky that ever was.
Hey, mister,
Seemed like
we'd like to help you.
Do I know you?
Back at the lottery, you...
to the light.
Oh yeah.
You saw
Without
that
you, we
sea of
wouldn't have
white
gotten
faces
away.
looking hard
Daisy
back
always
at you.
said somebody like you would come along.
I'm usually not one for anachronisms, but this game really did a good job with its anachronistic view of history. Especially all the songs, all the like licensed music that they have, and all of the licensed musics from like the 70s.
Would you happen to have the time?
But it's done in the style of like the 1910s. Just making sure that there's not any like
What's that? Why is one bathroom for color?
cool stuff that I need,
Just is.
like gears or anything. I don't think there is.
Trying to get us both arrested.
I'm not as familiar with this game as I am with the original Bioshock, so box phone.
As a boy, I had a dog named Bill. Like all dogs, Bill was a loyal friend. If we had not fed him, Bill
Oh god,
would have
yeah,
been loyal.
this one.
If we had struck him, Bill would have been loyal. Only when the colored man can make that claim
Yeah.
will he take his place in society.
Yep, rampant racism.
Annabelle?
Not even.
Excuse me?
Annabelle, it's me, Esther.
Oh, no, I'm not Annabelle.
Are you sure?
My name is Elizabeth. Do I know you?
Elizabeth. Isn't that a lovely name?
I have no. I mean,
was
I know what that was about, but I have no idea who she is or how she got into
Park's closing.
this
Park's
version
closing,
of
everyone.
Columbia.
Excuse me.
These shoes sure could benefit from a shine. Guess I haven't paid much attention.
Hey, you want to watch out? I just swapped that.
If I go down here. I'm trying to remember where you like get the guitar and play the song. So I kind of want to do that. Might not be until later.
Sauerkraut? I guess so.
I'll take, one, please. How much?
1 silver eagle.
All right.
2 tickets for passage to the First Lady airship.
Yeah, just a minute, friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it. How do you,
This choice does actually have a little bit of a cosmetic thing.
I got it. I'll ring you back once the matter's in hand.
I don't like this.
Yeah, send in the bird. We're ready to execute.
Stay where you are!
Move in!
What are you doing? Get the girl! Get off of me!
Just think about how to dispatch that dude.
Let me out!
Elizabeth!
Stay away from me!
Stop him!
Also, the battle music in this always reminded me of Wizard of Oz. The do 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 do. Ah, I just killed 2 people with 1 shot. Also, these guys do kind of resemble Nazis.
This is the moment we trained for. The false shepherd is here. The day was not exact, but the prophet's sight proves out again. The specimen must be taken alive. If she dies, I suspect they will give us to the bird. And whatever pieces it leaves behind will bear no names.
I love doing this.
And with cigarette number 6, this waiting is insufferable.
Where is she? Great.
Is this the ticket office? Where? Yeah. Infusion. Boost my shield.
Perfect.
I don't use my vigors as much in this game. Or in Bioshock in general, really. Oh, is this where the guitar is? No.
As the months and years turn to memories, so did the men of Congress turn to righteousness. And through the technology of men, the dollars of Washington, the Lord worked his will upon Columbia and raised her high above the Sodom below.
Just stay where you are! Hey, come back here!
See, Jacob V11 said, I am looking forward to Metro Exodus. I never got into the Metro games. Last Light was alright, I guess.
Killed those people.
Elizabeth,
And Malagru said, I'm definitely buying Ghosts of
what did you think was gonna
Tsushima based on the samurai aesthetics and the fact that it's being made by Sucker Punch. Ooh. I haven't heard of that game yet. But I like Sucker Punch. I do like Sucker Punch. They make good games.
You are an investment, and you will not be safe until you are far away from here.
What do they want from me?
I don't know.
As we get to the next area,
If you don't draw first,
I want to kind of go on movies, because movies, much like the rest of freaking Western society, it seems like, is starting to implode a little bit under its own weight. There's nowhere near as many like quality movies this year as there have been in years past. Not to say it's a bad year, it's just it's batting more sevens than Vegas. It's it's bagging more sevens than a game of dice.
I found some money. Want it?
And I have them written down in like no particular order. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. A lot of backlash around that game, and I definitely understand why. I definitely see why it was a disappointment for a lot of people. I was not disappointed in it. I thought it was good enough. I thought it was as good as The Force Awakens, or it was better than Rogue One at least. It was on par with like Revenge of the Sith, and for me, that's not an insult. I think a lot of the problems with like the quality of Star Wars films and how people perceive them are that so many people have themselves convinced that the prequels are just absolute garbage, and they're not. Even Attack of the Clones has its merits. And they all had excellent ideas. The execution was a bit botched in places, but that's all it was. It was a little bit botched. Like, they weren't bad movies. They weren't the worst things ever. They were so much better than so many of the other movies that were coming out those years. Again, like, even Attack of the Clones, the worst one, came out in 2002, which was not a good year in film at all. So Last Jedi is probably still my favorite movie of the year that I've seen. Nowhere near the best, though. The best, I would have to say, like, and I am nowhere near alone in this. A lot of people have been saying this, but Get Out is probably the best film of the year. And that's kind of the cliche choice right now. I hope that when it comes time for the Oscars to pick their nominees and stuff, which they should be here in a few weeks, that they remember that Get Out happened. It came out earlier in the year, so its chances are much, much slimmer than, say, that new one with Daniel Day-Lewis that everyone is talking about now. The Phantom Thread, I think is what it's called.
We tell them we got lost looking for the bathroom.
And that works.
Not usually, no.
Days at Comstock House was simple. Hard work, sure, but simple. Wringing the linen, scrubbing the floors. Lady Comstock, she even had a kind word now and then. Almost enough to make me think I had a place in their world. God made foolish girls so he could have something to play with.
What is Fitzroy? Nah, I would have. I know there was like a cleaning lady person in Bioshock 2 that had a similar like arc as Daisy Fitzroy. But I think that was just what George Lucas would call poetry. Anyway, yeah, Get Out was probably the best. Anyway, back to Get Out. Get Out was probably the best movie to come out this year. The way it handled its themes was a bit timeless, and I think that's something that a lot of the other movies were lacking. Like the thematic content in The Last Jedi, some of it was timeless, some of it was very much could only exist in 2017, and once the zeitgeist of 2017 passes, it's gonna like not even be a thing anymore. Whereas Get Out was a bit more timeless. It was a bit more universal, I felt. I think a lot of it has to do with the twist that like
There it is. First lady.
that the villains in that movie see the hero as this like awesome guy, and that's why they're after him. It's something that I wish all people would have seen. I'm gonna look around the boardwalk for a bit. I don't think I've ever like explored around this area.
You know, remember, boys and girls, don't be a dimwit. How could you not know that?
Must be something particular to Columbia.
Oh, I loved those stories when I was a kid. But they are a bit off-putting.
Who stood looking at another girl who also was and was not myself. My mother took this for a nightmare. I saw it as the beginning of a career in physics.
Malacru said, at least Last Jedi took risks, unlike Star Wars Rebels. Seriously, what happened?
Can always use more of them. Do you know why you were hired to come and get me?
I imagine they were interested in meeting you. No doubt for lockpicking lessons.
Why you?
I never even heard of this place before I got here.
Huh. I assumed Columbia was common knowledge below.
Guess I got a bit.
I hate that she doesn't pick up lockpicks on her own. Like, that's the only thing she uses. Why not just pick them up? Like, seriously.
What?
Just imagining you on the carousel.
Yeah, I don't watch Rebels, so I have no idea what is going on with Rebels. The only one I really talk to that does watch Rebels is, Dude What the Heck, and he's been a little, like,
What are you, Mr. Toy?
not around
Sort of
on Discord hardly lately.
Independent contractor. Used to work for the Pinkertons and such. That's something you'd want gracing a resume.
Pinkertons. Weren't they the ones they'd call in to settle things when the workers took to striking?
Settle. Well, that's a word for it.
Anyway, next movie I have on my list after Get Out is Wonder Woman, which... Okay, so Wonder Woman was also a good movie, but when did good become one of the best movies ever? Like, I hate the like people who are just all over Wonder Woman and loving Wonder Woman and thinking Patty Jenkins should have won Time Magazine's Person of the Year award just for making a movie that didn't absolutely suck. Like, that's really all she did. Who else is shooting at me? so satisfying.
Yeah. Want to hold on to this? Take this.
Like Wonder Woman was just fine, but it was like, guys, Wonder Woman wasn't even as good as Captain America: The First Avenger. It's not one of the best movies of the year. I've not seen every movie of the year, but like I've seen like 15, 16 movies of the year, and Wonder Woman would probably barely make my top 10 out of that. Out of those like 15 movies that I've seen from this year. Another one that a lot of people have been talking up a storm about and loving that I just did not like was Blade Runner 2049.
I gotta get this thing moving again.
What do I have to do? Do I have to... Oh, fuse box.
Oh, it's a bee. I hate these things.
Yeah, Blade Runner 2049.
Elizabeth.
I have a better idea.
Kind of an insult to the original Blade Runner.
What are you doing?
Opening tear.
Oh, shit. What is that?
It's a tear. I used to open them all the time in my tower.
What is a tear?
It's like a window. A window to another world. Most of the time they're dull as dishwater, a different colored towel or tea instead of coffee. But sometimes I see something amazing and I pull it through. There.
Good God. I don't suppose you've got an airship in there?
I don't think so. But there is. There is something. Oh no!
Close it.
I'm trying!
Close it!
Yep.
I don't really understand what I just saw back there, but it sure as hell
I
looks
don't
like a
either, and I've
shortcut
played
to
through
getting
this
us
game
killed.
twice.
But I can help.
I can handle whatever comes along. Trust me.
Have it your way, I suppose.
Yeah, this game gets really
Can you unlock this?
complicated. But anyway, Blade Runner 2049. The biggest problem with it is that
Done.
Blade Runner is the definitive neo-noir. What Blade Runner 2049 was a CGI hodgepodge mess of a swashbuckling action film that completely missed the point and appeal of the original. And I'm not even that big into the original Blade Runner. It's just weapon accuracy on skylines, melee strikes against staggered enemies add 60% chance to critical hit. More damage when struck. Yeah. Let's equip that. So I don't do a whole lot of fighting on the skylines as much as I would like to. I'm just not good enough with this game to really be awesome with that. Ah, Bunky Bronco. So, the next movie I have on my list is Thor Ragnarok, the third Thor movie, which, again, was a lot of fun, and I liked it a lot. It was the best of the Thor movies, but that's the only thing that you will hear best and Ragnarok in the same sentence. that's right. Bucking Bronco doesn't work on these guys. Trying to pull an Itachi. I think that's another thing I'm not enthused about with this game is the fact that all the action beats take place in like these more wider open areas and just kind of samey feeling a lot of times. Whereas like every encounter in the original Bioshock felt like it was important, really.
Who's that?
Slade? I actually know the fella. Seems he's still got a knack for making enemies.
Where the Vox Populi.
Look at this. My tower. It's only fair they give me a cut of the profits, don't you think?
Locked. Elizabeth.
Ah, this won't take long at all. There you go.
Okay, I think that's all for this room. Yeah, Thor Ragnarok, it was my favorite. Well, no, it wasn't my favorite superhero movie of the year. My favorite superhero movie of the year was Spider-Man Homecoming. It was just the perfect Spider-Man movie. Not a perfect movie, but exactly what a Spider-Man movie needs to be and what it should be.
This is going to be fantastic.
Think that keen eye of yours could find some ammunition lying around? I sure could use it when there's trouble.
It'll take some scrounging, but I'll do my best.
Yeah, I don't think I went in here yet.
The line's clear.
Got a tip there were contraband guns hidden in the fellow traveler. Didn't find them, but funny thing, we found some old uniforms under the floorboards from the war. Took guesses as to why they were there, but... Who's there? You're Slate, right? Sir? Put the guns down! Did you hear that, Comstock?
Not sure what that's supposed to be.
Cipher. A secret message from the Vox Populi.
You're the junior codebreaker. What's it say?
Don't know. There should be a code book somewhere.
Yeah, I don't like the side missions. The fact that like this game is so otherwise linear that you don't ever like remember where things are when if you do end up finding something, which I rarely do. I've not found like any of the side missions. I think there was one that I was like, oh yeah, I remember where that is. When I found the other part of it and then did it.
Booker. Sniper, get down!
Oh, missed.
Looks like we found where your old friend Slade is.
Just find that shock jockey and get the hell out of here.
No scope. Blew his head off. Pop. Pop like a tube of toothpaste. So used to the left trigger being aim. Yeah, see what I mean? Like that. Like this song.
Perfect timing.
I like this. Much like the original Bioshock, the soundtrack is one of the best parts. Yeah, shock jockey stuff. Yeah, yeah, Thor Ragnarok was just like a Jack Kirby comic come to life. I think its biggest flaw is that I didn't feel like Thor. It felt a little new, like a little more fresh, a little more original than Thor. And I thought it was supposed to be the third movie with Thor. Kinda cheapened it. Kinda cheapened it a little bit. It really sucks because the movie that was most like a Thor comic was Thor: The Dark World, which is not just the weakest of the Thor movies, but one of the weakest. Probably like the second weakest of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let's see. Yeah, but Spider-Man Homecoming was kind of the opposite of that. Like, it was just so, like, exactly what Spider-Man needed to be. Like, yeah, there was some terrible stuff in it. Like, Zendaya's character was just awful, but you know what? It was purposely done. Like, she was what she was, and she was that on purpose. And it was realistically done. There are really people like that at that age, especially in a city like New York. Like, if there wasn't a character like that, it would be more unrealistic. I'd have a harder time believing it. But yeah, her character sucks, but it was purposely done that way. Some people like it, some people like her, some people don't. I don't. And neither one is wrong. If you like her, you're not wrong. If you don't like her, you're not wrong. And I like it when characters are like that.
Slade? Is that you?
See, the other Marvel movie that came out this year was Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which didn't leave an impact on me. I think it's the weakest of the Marvel movies to come out this year. Try a little too hard to be serious sometimes. Try a little hard to be over dramatic, but then always undercut its dramatic moments with comedy. I like watching them beat themselves to death. See, other movies that come out this year. Looking on the list. Logan was my second favorite and the second best movie of the year. Like, no matter how I slice it, it's number 2 on my list for this year. Out of the ones I've seen, of course.
Just what the doctor ordered.
See, John Wick 2 came out this year. That was a lot of fun for a disposable action movie. I like the John Wick movies a lot. See, we had Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, which was kind of awful. I did not like it. And that was another one where it's like just so. The Valerian comics are so influential and so important within the sci-fi stratosphere that seeing it reduced to what it was in the movie was really disheartening. Dane DeHaan just has no business playing the cool guy. The roguish Han Solo type. Like, he is pretty much only good playing the dumb, angsty kid. And I know he's like 30, but that's further proves my point. I don't like the RPG in this. But I like it better than the sniper rifle. And I think I'm gonna need some heavier firepower later on in this level. Sure I'm going the right way?
With hue and cry, with hatchet red, they danced amongst our noble...
You were there. That wounded knee.
Yeah.
I can see it in your face.
Tell her, Booker. Tell her how we strode that battlefield like the heroes of Sparta. I still hear the screams. Let's come, stop. Here's the soldier I spoke of. The kind of man Comstock pretends to be. See if I told you true. Close in.
Ugh. So satisfying. As far as
Yeah. I want to do this, Slade. Just give me what I need. I will. After you do the same for me. Come and look for me amongst the boxers.
Who are the boxers?
The Chinese. He means us to head to the other display.
Can you hear Comstock's tin soldiers?
But yeah, other movies that kind of fell into the same trap that Valerian did, as far as like super influential stories reduced to pandering messes. The live action Beauty and the Beast was pretty bad. Like, the parts of it were good were just the parts that were just shot for shot what the animated classic was, and every single thing that they added into it just made it worse. Like, quantifiably worse. Same thing with Alien Covenant. Like, they completely sapped away every bit of nuance and mystery from the aliens, and the entire movie just got really silly because of that. and yeah, I was not at all excited for Alien Covenant. I did not like Prometheus like at all. But the trailers looked promising, and then I heard things about it, and then I saw it for myself, and it's like, wow, that movie was bad. That movie was awful.
Who's sneaking around?
Was yellow skin and slanted eyes that did betray us with their lies until they crossed the righteous path of our prophets.
Oh, I read about this. Comstock
Yeah,
led
the
the
Boxer
Comstock
Rebellion.
Wasn't there! The Boxers took my eye and 30 of my friends. Is there even a stone to mark that sacrifice?
Then as far as animation goes, not a banner year for animation either. I think it's because like there wasn't an animated Disney movie this year that I can think of. Like Pixar had Coco, which I have not seen yet. I have not seen Coco yet. Supposedly it's really good. I'm probably gonna have to wait until it comes out on DVD before I get to see it.
I didn't ask for this. I have no quarrel with these
Lego Batman was pretty good.
I never claimed to be no hero.
I think Lego Batman was better than the Lego movie. Like, I think it was much more clever. Maybe it's because I was always much more into Batman than I was, like, Lego itself. So I was able to, like, get the jokes.
Now that you're out of yours, you might realize
The only
cages
problem I had with the Lego Batman movie was that, it did such a good job honoring Batman's 70-plus year history that they built the movie around this version of Batman having never had a Robin, even though Robin has been there since pretty close to the beginning. Like, there was barely ever a Batman without Robin. So I found the whole thing like a little disingenuous to Robin. Like, I get like it worked, and like that's not really Batman, it's Lego Batman. But I don't know. It made the homage parts a little confused because they had to keep dancing around the fact that so many of these versions of Batman, Robin was such a incremental part of the mythos for so much of it.
My books never mention anything about a child.
That's quite an admission. Can't imagine that was by accident.
The child took ill, and Our Lady prayed for the prophet's heir day and night.
Yeah. The only other anime movie I saw this year was Your Name, which I actually just recently watched, and that's I talked about this on the Discord, but Your Name was really, really good, and I definitely see why so many people are in love with that movie. But there was things it did where I felt like I think that when they added the time travel elements, it kind of went off the rails a little bit.
Seems right up your alley.
It kind of like fell part, the internal logic kind of fell apart. The movie it reminded me of the most was a movie by the name of When Marnie Was There, which came out a few years back. I think it came out in 2015. It's either 2015 or 2016. I probably saw it in 2016. But When Marnie Was There was much more character centric, whereas Your Name cared more about like the plot setup and the like body switching stuff and time travel, and the characters just kind of got lost in the shuffle of everything that was going on. Yeah, that's pretty much all the movies I saw this year. Haven't seen Justice League yet. Not at all interested in it.
Is that?
It's a tear, something I can bring into this world.
Okay, gonna check the chat again. So Jacob V11 said, "What movies are you looking forward to next year?" I'm looking forward to the second Godzilla movie. I was not that enthused with the last Godzilla movie.
Booker, do you see those tears? We can use them against Slate's men.
So, I'm certainly looking forward to the Avengers.
And some cover.
Try that one! Turret, now!
Watch out, rockets!
Oh. Did I just shoot the rocket? I think I did. There we go. Look at how much damage some of these enemy types take. Yeah, certainly looking forward to Avengers. I wish I could say I was looking forward to the Han Solo movie, but I'm not. Maybe when the trailer comes out in the next month or so, I'll be more enthused about it, but as of right now, yeah, as of right now, not at all looking forward to Disney furthering their descent into madness with Star Wars. Star Wars, unlike Marvel, is not made to have the freaking annual release. The magic is running out, and it's running out fast. Rian Johnson managed to breathe some life into it with his creativity, but I don't. That does not seem to be happening with yeah. Same thing does not seem to be happening with the Han Solo movie.
That's what Comstock will turn us into. Wires and gears to replace heads and hearts. Judges, I act.
just as I was flanking it and going around. What other movies are coming out next year? I believe Incredibles 2 is coming out next year. I'm looking forward to that. Toy Story 4 I think is coming out next year as well. And I don't like that that movie exists.
Done.
And I'm in a lose-lose situation with it, where like, if it's good, then that means that Toy Story is no longer a great trilogy, it's a great saga, and I can no longer say it's better than Lord of the Rings. But if it sucks, then it tarnishes the entire reputation of Toy Story as being this kind of nigh perfect thing. So yeah, I'm in a lose-lose situation with Toy Story 4 coming out. Assuming it's still happening. I haven't heard anything about it. That movie coming out. I'm gonna actually Google this real quick. I didn't think to look up upcoming movies. So I shall entertain you with this kinetoscope while I Google this. Okay, so here's a list. Like Avengers Infinity War, super looking forward to that. Jurassic World 2 looks awful. It looks like it's gonna be so bad.
What is that?
Comstock ships. He's coming for Slade.
Solo Star Wars stories, just such a bad idea. Star Wars usually has good ideas. Solo is not a good idea.
He won't rest until he's turned us into tin. I won't let him. He took my past, but that's all he's getting from me.
Just give us the vigor. We don't need to do this.
Black Panther looks pretty good. I don't like the trailer, but I just don't like the trailer music is what I don't like. The rest of it looks fine. Oh, did I miss them both?
You're not the Booker DeWitt I remember. Tin Man! Tin Man!
Did you just go yar like a pirate? Okay, gotta remember that there's a vault back there that I can open.
Rejoice, for death has no sting.
So I'm gonna let him go for a little bit. I'm gonna keep my rocket trained on his back. Oh, I was hoping my thing would last longer than that. Ooh, hold on.
Come on, DeWitt. Show me what you're made of.
There we go.
Doomed as noble Custer was at Little Bighorn. But we shall not yield to Comstock and his 10 soldiers. But my scout has seen him.
Got the crank gun now. Other movies. Alita, Battle Angel looks... I was never a fan of the ultra realistic, mocap based animated films. I didn't like it. Didn't work in Beowulf. It didn't work in Mars Needs Moms, and it's not gonna work for Alita Battle Angel.
I'll see what I can do.
I'm not looking forward to that one.
All yours.
Let's see, we also got Sicario 2. The first Sicario was good. I didn't think it was the kind of thing you would give a sequel, but I guess it is.
Appreciate it.
Never heard of 12 Strong. Ready Player One. We were actually talking about this on the Discord last night. I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I'm also I'm kind of not at the same time. A lot of it has to do with the marketing. The marketing is like, ooh, look, it's this thing that you know and that thing that you know. Please love us. Like please, like it's desperate. It seems like it's a desperate movie, like desperate for Daddy's approval. And it's just that kind of marketing does not appeal to me at all. Anything that's always like, oh no, seriously, we're just that cool. That's a quick way to lose my interest. Let's see, Deadpool 2, looking forward to that. That's gonna be a thing, especially now that Disney owns Fox. I'm kind of mad that that happened. But on the upside of the whole Disney Fox thing, we can get an Avengers X-Men crossover movie. And I want it. I want it to happen. I don't care if it sucks. Because I want... Stan Lee just turned 95 yesterday. I want him to live long enough to see all these beloved heroes he created, like, I want to see him live long enough to see all these beloved characters he had.
They haven't changed you, Booker. Not one bit.
Yeah. Let's see. Don't know what A Star Is Born is, but it looks dumb. Insidious, the last chapter, let's hope. I was never a big fan of Insidious. Like, I've been really, like, positive about the horror movies this decade. It's been a decent decade for the horror, but Insidious is not one of them. Insidious is not one of the movies I've liked. Insidious 1 was awful, Insidious 2 was even worse. And Insidious 3 is coming out in January, which basically guarantees that it's going to be one of the worst movies of the year. Because every time a horror movie comes out in January, it's one of the worst movies of the year. Like, mark my words on that one. A Wrinkle in Time, I didn't like the book. I did read the book, I did not like it. I do not remember liking it at all. So not looking forward to that movie. I've heard about Mortal Engines, but I don't know much about it. I think that's the... is that the train one? I don't know. Disney's apparently making a Nutcracker film. Goody. Them and everyone else. Incredibles 2. Gonna be good.
I'll do what I can to keep you stocked in salts.
Thanks.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is coming out next year. I liked Ant-Man. I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty solid for a smaller film. The New Mutants, I think they decided that I thought they decided that's gonna be a TV show. I don't know what's going on with New Mutants. I've heard like a bunch of different things about it, like it was gonna be a TV show apparently. I don't know. Ocean's 8, didn't even know that was a thing.
I can tell what Slate's
Mamma Mia, they're making another Mamma Mia movie. Didn't the, like, previous Mamma Mia movie, like, completely bomb and get a bunch of Razzies and stuff? And also come out, like, 10 years ago?
That said, less you know about me.
That would be like if they just now decided to make, no, it wouldn't even, because that's actually way more recent. It would be like if they just now decided to make a sequel. I was gonna say a sequel to Battleship, but Battleship is even more recent than Mamma Mia. Spy Who Dumped Me. Can we just stop with the Spy Who Loved Me parodies? The Spy Who Loved Me was already a self-parody. Like that was Roger Moore era Bond. Pacific Rim 2. I liked the first Pacific Rim just fine. It's one of those movies where my opinions have definitely soured over the how long had it been? Like 5 years since that movie came out now? Almost 5 years. Another Predator movie, don't care. Another Maze Runner movie, I don't think anybody has ever cared about Maze Runner. Even when it was like allegedly a popular book. Maze Runner was that book that I kept on hearing about, but nobody I knew actually liked it. Like it was always that like low tier quality writing. Not to the same extent as Twilight. Twilight was like really, really bad, and everyone knew it was bad, and that was kind of part of the enjoyment. Is that it was so, like Twilight had that almost so bad it's good quality. Maze Runner just it was one of those it took itself way too seriously, and the twist just never worked. Not to mention those like epic dramas by way of high school freaking class system. Or a clique system, not even class, like a clique system. Kind of wore out its welcome by the time Harry Potter was finished. The last Harry Potter movie came out in 2011. Tomb Raider's coming out next year. It's a video game based movie. I don't know why people are getting excited for it. As if this one, like, no, seriously guys, this is the one. This is the one that ends up being good. We saw it with Hitman. We saw it with Assassin's Creed. We saw it with every single time one of these big video games gets turned into a movie. And it's just gonna happen again.
Above you even now, at every angle and insult. If the prophet would make a painted whore of our past, what fresh race does our future hold? Let us now make our stand and fill yonder hole with true heroes.
Not recognizing any of these. I'm not recognizing a lot of these other movies. Oh, Mary Poppins is getting a remake. Talk about a freaking list of things Disney just did not need to do. Like, seriously, why are they remaking Mary Poppins? Mary Poppins is a dang near perfect film as it is. And they can't even be like the, oh, now it's in live action thing because it was already in live action. Like, it's already the best live action movie Disney's ever done. So why even bother making it? Pass it up. I was supposed to drop off here. Maybe that's what happened to the Pacific Northwest this year. Just somebody was fighting a fireman.
Are you all right? Not look easy. Mr. DeWitt.
The name's Booker.
I'll be certain to attend to that station. Booker. And there's a moment when we're not being shot at. If you're interested, I spotted some supplies over there.
I think I was already in here. Yeah, I was definitely already in here. So, according to Google, both Aquaman and Venom are still happening. I don't think they are. Honestly, I don't think, I think Aquaman's gonna get canned. Either that or they're gonna just pull out a lot of the support they have for it and just let it flop. Because, I mean, Justice League did terrible in the box office. That's kind of what it was, what Aquaman was relying on. And Aquaman, just from all the reviews I've read, a lot of people were saying he was the worst one. He was the worst part, so there's no, like, drive to have an Aquaman movie. And I don't think there ever was. Aquaman was never that interesting. And neither was Venom. See, there's another Fantastic Beast. They're supposedly doing a dark X-Men movie, but I feel like we would have learned more about that if they were actually doing that. Rampage, again, it's a movie based on a video game. Stop getting your hopes up, people. Another Hotel Transylvania movie. Not really interested in that. The second one kind of sucked. Another 50 Shades movie. That's going to be in the worst list.
Yeah.
Another Spider-Man movie. A sequel to The Equalizer that nobody asked for. Quiet Place. Another Gnome movie. Yeah, another Strangers movie. A sequel to Strangers that no one asked for. Seriously, why is Hollywood fixated on the movies that they are? Like, it makes no sense to me why they keep giving sequels to movies like The Equalizer, or why they keep remaking movies like Mary Poppins. Oh, I gotta pull a lever.
The gondola's coming.
Elizabeth. Once he has what he needs, he will leave you alone. What else could you expect from a liar and killer of women?
Malik Reeves said, "Are there any anime that you've been keeping up with?" Oh, that's another thing I'm excited for in 2018. My Hero Academia Season 3. My Hero Academia Season 3, and we're also getting that video game, and we're getting a movie. So I'm excited for that. You're shooting me from where? Other than that, the only other anime I've been keeping up with, and it's something I just caught up on, is Boruto. I just caught up with Boruto. I'll probably watch One Punch Man Season 2 when it comes out, if it decides to actually come out. It was supposed to come out this year. It was supposed to come out like back in October, and it never did. And apparently, like, they're having, like, production problems, finding a team, finding a director, stuff like that. Oh! I don't think I've ever done that before in the 2 playthroughs I've had of this game. I just did it 3 times in a row. I didn't even know I could do that. Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah. Not my most brilliant moment, but it did well enough.
Here.
Nice.
In case you need it.
Yeah, Boruto. I heard some bad things about it, which is one of the reasons why, like, it took me so long to give it a shot. I finally cracked down and started watching it about a week ago, probably, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't understand why so many people hate it. Like, I get that Boruto's not a good protagonist. He's not a good lead. He's much better as a side character, or as in a supporting role. And it doesn't have the kind of forward momentum, which was the original Naruto series. Like, greatest attribute was its forward momentum. That end goal of, like, this will end with Naruto becoming Hokage, and you get to watch the journey there.
When you were unconscious on the beach, you kept repeating its name. Anna.
It's yeah, I like it a lot. I might do a video on it sometime in the future.
New York.
What did you do there?
Business much
Probably not until after it passes up the movie.
Fine thing you came along.
Because so much of, like, the better plot elements were the stuff have been the stuff that Kishimoto did after he went on his honeymoon.
Charity?
Who sent you?
Somebody who was willing to take my marker in exchange for you.
Yeah, those are the only anime I've been. Oh, I've been keeping up with Dragon Ball Super. It's been getting intense. I might do a video on that too once this Tournament of Power ends. Dragon Ball Super got really, really good a few months ago. After about 2 years of just being garbage. Or being like half decent. It turned into a really, really solid show. With the whole with this Tournament of Power once it got started. Kitty Kirishima said, I just remembered that there's going to be another animated Grinch movie coming out in November. Yeah, oh boy. Not at all looking forward to that. Just God, leave stuff alone, please. The animated Grinch movie is an all-time classic. Why would they... Like, turning an animated movie into a live-action movie makes sense, because, like, okay, you're taking something, like, cartoonish or unrealistic, and you're making it look real. Like, trying to make it look more real and believable. And you know what? I was kind of fine with the Jim Carrey Grinch movie that's directed by Ron Howard. But why would they just make another animated one? Why not just... it's kind of frustrating.
So, looks like
Devin Holmes says, so who else would join Blake's harem? Weiss.
Suits me.
I'm hoping Weiss.
Either they've got a profit
And then
on
he
their
said,
side,
LOL, the worst movie
or
idea
them
would
that
be
hired me also
Ironheart.
get the signs.
Why?
Yes.
Not me.
Yes, Ironheart. Ugh. What happened to Brian Michael Bendis? He did so good with his Daredevil run, and then... And now it's just... Oh god, Ironheart's the worst. I don't know what freaking Marvel was thinking with that character. Like, for those of you who don't know, like, Ironheart is the character that gets upset when people don't, when people aren't racist to her. She's like, but aren't you supposed to tell me that, like, I'm a woman and I'm black, so I can't do any of this stuff? Like, kid, no. Nobody has said that since the 70s. Since long before you were born. Get over yourself. And shut up. God, I hate Ironheart. One of the big problems with Marvel, just on a technical level, is their dialogue balloons. Like, there's more dialogue balloon than actual panel in each of their comics, and it just... It's not a good thing when that happens. Oh, did I mess this up? Did I hit the button twice on accident? I think I hit the button twice on accident and it took me back down. So I wasn't paying attention. Yeah.
You alright?
I want to see Paris. I want to see.
So, I think the only other thing that
It's up to you now.
I could think of
What is that? 40
that
north,
happened
74 west. That's not Paris, that's New York.
that happened this
One thing I
year
had in that tower
was the whole
time.
net neutrality thing, which
Time to study things like
I've
geography.
talked about
I
net
owed money.
neutrality on
There's a
Facebook
fellow who- he offered to
quite a
wipe away my
lot.
debt in exchange for you.
And there, I think I even talked about it a lot on my stream because I did my 1 year anniversary stream just so happened to be like that same week.
Hey,
a lot of confusion as to what net neutrality is and what it does, and it's wrapped up in so many like misnomers and outright lies from certain sides, like the whole God, what was it? It was like this like screenshot that was supposedly
Come on. Everything's gonna be okay.
taken
Just
of
turn around and talk to me and we can
the screenshot that was taken of like an advertisement for internet in Portugal, which doesn't have net neutrality laws, and that's one of the things that caused all the uproar. And then it turned out that that was fake, but the media didn't cover that it was fake. Even though anyone who looks at it would be like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be from Portugal, a country that uses the euro, and yet everything is in dollar signs. Malik Reef says Iwabe is what Cardin should have been. I think Iwabe is a very different kind of character. So I don't really agree with that sentiment. Maybe at first, I don't know though. Cause Iwabe was never like mean to Dinky, and Dinky would be like the more obvious Jean substitute. But yeah, I could see that like Iwabe was kind of the bully character in that one episode of Boruto, and now he's like the tough guy.
Caused a mess of trouble at the raffle.
You Fitzroy?
Nothing but.
I got no quarrel with you or your Vox Populi. This is my airship you're hanging me out of, and I got perilous need of it.
Really? Because it sure look like old Comstock's airship to
Listen,
me.
I ain't looking for a fight.
There's already a fight to win. Only question is, which side you on? Comstock is the god of the white man, the rich man, the pitiless man. But if you believe in common folk, then join the
See, this whole thing with the Vox Populi would have been done so much better had Ken Levine been able to make the game he envisioned and not be like limited by technology and resources. Because there was supposed to be much more like choice heavy stuff with who you help out, whether you help out the Vox Populi or Comstock's goons. I've been going for almost 2 hours, so if you want to know more about like my views on net neutrality, or what actually got repealed, Razor Fist has a very brilliant video of like how the thing that got repealed was not actually net neutrality. It was only called net neutrality in order to garner support for it, and what it actually was a government regulation of the internet, Title II formation. But here's the thing. The FCC voted to repeal it. I believe it still has to go through Congress and stuff. But with that said, the FCC should have never had a say in net neutrality to begin with. It does not need to be in their hands. It does not need to be in the hands of any bureaucracy like the FCC. That's kind of why I'm like, if nothing else, this vote kind of took it out of their hands.
scrawny little thing prowling around here.
The hyena is a trickster.
Get out of here, snipe. You want to know what we do to pretty little stowaways? Or maybe you don't.
Hey! Just stop for a minute!
Stay away!
I just want to talk to you!
I said stay away!
Elizabeth!
I don't know why balloons would be so hard to walk through, but okay.
I'm not angry with you! Hey, watch out! Move it! Move!
Stay back!
God damn it!
I am not going with you!
Don't go in there!
There's no need of one such as you!
No, no!
No! Let me go!
You got her!
There's gotta be another way in.
Requested troops are on their way. Keep close.
Let go of me! Get your hands off of me! Let me go!
wants you, and we mean to give it to him. Won't you be quiet?
Hello?
Don't run out! Don't let her out of your sight. Profit won't be
Dang. I like it when they're still like kind of standing when they die.
Stop already!
I am not going with you!
Elizabeth, wait!
Oh gosh, yeah. Good thing I picked up that volley gun. Oh wait, I don't think I ended up fighting him. I don't think I end up fighting him yet.
Hey, I'm slipping!
Do not attempt to follow me, Mr. DeWitt.
Elizabeth, I've made an arrangement to get our airship back.
You can get us out of here.
Yes, I just need to supply enough weapons to arm an entire uprising.
And where will we get these weapons? From one of our many friends and allies?
A gunsmith in Finkton should be a walk in the park. What do you say, partners?
You're a liar, Mr. DeWitt. And a thug. you're also my only means of reaching Paris. Don't get too comfortable with my company, Mr. Dwayne. You are a means to an end, no more.
Yeah. No, also with Boruto, I wish they didn't make most of the kids clones. With him being a prodigy and with no goal, there's not much they can do with him except maybe kill his parents for copying Neji's story. That kind of goes with Boruto just not being a good lead. I think Sarada is a much more compelling lead character because, you know, like her dad is actually like basically abandoned the family to fight freaking alien ninjas or whatever he's doing. I need health. Here we go. I feel like Boruto is a very different character from Naruto. He's almost the opposite in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, he's got that same attitude that Naruto did early on, but he's kind of directionless, and because he's also a prodigy and stuff. He doesn't have that same relatability that Naruto did.
How are we going to get into Think?
Illegally. Let's look for another way in.
It requires 5. Oh, there we go.
Got a lock here.
Yeah, I mean, other than Boruto, like, none of the characters are at all kind of, like, I guess Shikadai is kind of another Shikamaru, but I'm fine with it. And they do a lot more with exploring his and Boruto's relationship than Naruto ever did with exploring him and Shikamaru's relationship. I like what they're doing with Mitsuki. I love everything they've done with Sarada. Himawari is just an absolute precious little flower. Inoji, I like Inoji. Inoji's kind of a brat as well. Like he's kind of a brat. I kind of like that he's also kind of this brat.
I tell you, belief is just a commodity. Old Comstock, well, he does produce, but like
what else is there? There's
his product for the earthly ores. You see, one does not raise
I mean, so many of the other kids like aren't anyone's kid, like Sumire or Sumire, Iwabe, Denki.
Lest he soil his own.
Oh god, and Metal Lee, like they could have easily just did another Rock Lee with him, but they do something completely different, and I love it. I love what they've done with Metal Lee.
What you sow.
I don't have anything.
Mercy belongs to the Lord.
Bottle of salts.
My aim is true, as my eye is the puppet's. Reap what you sow.
The gunsmith Chen Lin wanted for known connections to the outlawed days outfits.
Let's see. Maliku said, I feel like he's more of a copy of Kakashi as a kid. Yeah, I feel that. Then Devin Holmes said, well, that's a fair judgment. I mainly wish they did something different with him. Like, he could have been more like his mom. Like, maybe he starts off being more like a Hyuga instead of Naruto too. That would be a very different story. I really... Because, as much as I love Hinata's not the kind of person I would want as a lead either. Because she's just so docile and stuff, and yeah, I guess they could have maybe done some interesting things with that, but I don't see how I don't see how they could have made that work. I like that, like it's a spin-off series, like it knows that it's part of like the Naruto franchise, but it's not interested in like just recapturing Naruto or doing the same thing Naruto did. It is trying to do its own thing and be like almost like completely different kind of show. Like, Naruto was this very long form, divergent tale about a guy wanting to become ninja president, whereas Boruto is more about a bunch of ninjas having fun. So much they could do story-wise, as the world of Naruto is very interesting. I do want to know what that eye technique Boruto has. I do too. I feel like Toneri knows what it is. I feel like Mitsuki might too. And if Mitsuki knows, that means Orochimaru knows too.
And I want to share with you my personal creed.
I don't know. I don't know what it could be. Because he did it for a few seconds a few episodes ago. When him and Kagura or whatever his name is. I did not like the Land of Mist arc. I did not think Kagura was interesting. And oh my god, that guy who's supposed to be like another Kisame, like from Kisame same clan. Hello? Worst design in Naruto history. I swear, he looks so dumb.
DeWitt, Fink here. Listen, my boy, we've had our eye on you, and I can tell you right now that you are our top candidate. Top! Now, my associate, Mr. Flambeau, will help you with anything you need.
What the hell was that?
I have no idea.
He seems oddly pleased to make your acquaintance. Well, the man's got an ego.
Yeah, and then Chojuro is the Mitsukage. Wow, what a letdown. With Chapter 700, when Chapter 700 came out a few years ago, I was like, really? They chose Chojuro to be the next Mitsukage? Like, I mean, I get it. We knew, like, none of the other Mist Ninja. Like, the only other Mist Ninja we knew was Ao, the guy with the Byakugan eye. And
you see, the Fink Company store brings
yeah,
products
I just
designed specifically for the Fink.
They had an opportunity to be like, oh no, Chojuro really is that cool.
Mr. DeWitt, welcome to Finkton.
He really is like worth the title of Mitsukage, and he just was not. He nearly got killed by a couple like tuning level people.
But any questions regarding the gentleman's application should be taken up with Mr. Fink directly.
Does this strike you as good news? Doesn't strike me. Scavenge supplies by the clock shop.
Yeah. I've been going for a little over 2 hours now. I've said my piece about everything I wanted to say my piece about. So last call for questions or anything like that. I'm gonna look around here and then I'm gonna call it a day. Then next time you see or hear from me outside of like Facebook or Discord will be in 2018.
Here it is, Booker. Chen Lin, gunsmith.
Yep, that's gonna be it for me tonight. Last call for questions. Anything you want my opinion on? Malacru says I think Chojuro was just toying with him. I don't know. I don't know. I did not get that vibe from him. In fact, really, ever since the Great Ninja War, I've been a little disappointed with the Kage in general. It seems like the Hokage are the only Kages that are, like, impressive at all. Like, the second Mitsukage and second Tsuchikage were pretty cool. Onoki did a lot of cool stuff in the war, and, like, they even say, like, oh no, if Madara would have fought Onoki in his prime, it would have been, like, cool, it would have been, like, a worthy battle of them. But lip service is all that is. The Raikage didn't end up amounting to much. Neither did Mai. Oh my god. Mai sucks. Yeah, fifth Mitsukage sucks. Lady Tsunade, I never liked her as the Hokage either, as far as like power level goes. I just thought she was like pretty freaking weak compared to like Hiruzen or Minato or even Kakashi. Like I feel like Kakashi would be able to easily beat her. And she certainly can't hold a candle to the first two Hokage. Or Naruto, obviously. Yeah, so if that's it, I'm gonna Alt Tab out of here. Put my 2017 image back up. And I'm going to cut the stream. I was streaming for a little over 2 hours. Yeah. Maybe I'll do another stream thing to wrap up Ruby Volume 5. I purposely did not mention anything about Ruby just because we didn't have an episode last week and we're getting an episode this week and I'm bracing for impact. Have a good night, guys, and I'll see you in 2018.